2013年，两位艺术界中极具影响力的女性 Kyrene Berry 和 Campbell 在切尔西核心画廊区创立了同名画廊。和绝大多数画廊不一样的是，他们专注于向历史更深处挖掘，寻找被低估的美国战后与当代艺术家作品。不仅帮助曾被置于市场边缘的沧海遗珠重焕光彩，也为藏家们打开了入手艺术品投资收藏的全新角度。平时呢，画廊里的访客比较多，为了让你有更好的体验，我约了画廊主带你来一场闭馆日的独家艺术漫步，看看当下展览中的亮点藏品。Let me introduce you to Kyrene Berry, owner of Berry Campbell Gallery. Hi, Kyrene. Can you give us a brief introduction about the gallery and the current exhibition?
Yes, of course. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for coming. I'm always glad to see you when you come to Chelsea. I'm Kyrene Berry. I have a business partner named Martha Campbell. We opened this gallery about 8 years ago. We have a specialty with post-war, modern, and contemporary art. As you know, we specialize with a lot of women artists from the 1950s,
yes.
But we also have a specialty with artists in the 60s who worked in a color field style like Dan Christensen.
And this painting is absolutely a visually arresting piece.
Beautiful.
The texture is very unique.
Yes.
And it has a shimmering effect. Can you tell us more about the artist?
Absolutely. Dan Christensen was born in 1942 in Cozad, Nebraska. So he is a non-living artist. We work with a lot of estates here. We work with a full body of their work. We've curated this particular show from 1988 to 1994 to show you this beautiful period of painting that he was working in. Dan Christensen studied at the Kansas City Art Institute, and he moved to New York in the 1960s. And he became very famous at that time, like an art star. He was 25 years old and just became collected by all the museums. Richard Bellamy, who was a great art dealer, came to his studio and said, "You need to have a show." And he had a major solo show. Everyone bought all of his paintings, all the museums. He continued to show with the great Andre Emmerich Gallery, who showed Helen Frankenthaler and Jules Olitsky and Kenneth Nolan. So these are his contemporaries. But why he got so famous is because of his technique.
Yes.
So what you were mentioning before, this sort of hazy feeling. And it's really wonderful. He came up after the abstract expressionist painters were interested in the drip, like Jackson Pollock. The color field artists were more interested in process and how to put paint down on a canvas without a brush. So Dan Christensen purchased a spray gun, so a compressor spray gun at an auto body shop. And he would spray this beautiful paint. He'd put acrylic paint into this machine and just make these beautiful circles. And they're very, I would say, meditative and joyous. And he'd listen to a lot of jazz. So there's certainly an element of playfulness and music to these. And nobody else at the time was working in this style or with this medium. So he was doing this in the 60s, but he revisited the spray gun also in the 1980s and 90s.
I see there is a beautiful visual illusion of movement that draws us into the universe that is constructed by the artist. And when I look at the painting from a distance, I feel like the circles and orbs are illuminating, expanding, and turning around. And to me, it's such a beautiful, powerful, and enlightening piece that brings the audience great pleasure and energy.
It is. It's a museum quality piece.
Yes. Shall we explore some more works?
Yes, please. So I wanted to show you this painting because the other painting we looked at was a single circle or a single orb, as he called it. And it's important to know that in this show, it does progress. So there are multiple orbs. This is a beautiful example where there's 2 spots or orbs, and it's almost like the universe. And if you could see this up close, there's this beautiful haze here.
Yes.
And this haze comes from the fact that Dan Christensen was using this spray gun. So this technique, this unique technique that he used, he would lay down a color and then spray a different color over it and then another color over it. So we have this beautiful blue, but you can see close up there's underlying colors of green, orange. This looks black, but it's a deep purple of some sort. It's really stunning. And then this beautiful pink and red overlaid with the black. There's all kinds of things happening on this surface, but it's very quiet, again, meditative. And you'll see as you go through the exhibition, there'll be paintings like this with 3 orbs or more orbs.
It's very beautiful, and I think you have to come to the gallery to see the details.
Photography does not do this justice at all. You need to see in person.
We have to use our eyes.
Yes.
Yeah. And I have one more question for Christine. And how do you see the significance of Dan Christensen's works in art history as well as in the art market today?
Well, as I talked about earlier, Dan Christensen became famous in the 60s, and every museum collection acquired his work. So the Museum of Modern Art, the Metropolitan Museum, the Whitney Museum. So he's in every museum collection, and I think that's a very good start when you're collecting to make sure the artist that you're looking at has some roots, and the curators at museums have decided to have these works. Recently, there was a work on view at the Sheldon Art Museum in Nebraska, the Akron Museum, so you can go around the country and see his works. I have worked with Dan Christensen since he was alive. He died maybe 10 years ago. He died young. He was 65 when he died, and he was still in a wonderful painting mode. He painted for 60 years of his life, so there's a huge, wonderful body of work, and I think that's important for the future, so that you know if you're investing and buying in something, that there'll be more works coming on the market and being sold down the road. I can tell you from selling these for years that his market has just gone up.
Yes.
We also have had great success with this show. We've already sold several works, and I'm sure there'll be more to come.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I think what you're doing now is truly meaningful. Berry Campbell Gallery is fulfilling a very important gap in today's art world, rediscovering artists who have long been forgotten. For collectors, that's a great thing because you really open up a new perspective, a new way for them to understand, appreciate, and invest in art.
I agree. I feel like it's an opportunity when you look at an artist like this. He may not be as famous as his friends, Jules Olitsky or Kenneth Nolan or Frank Stella, but he is part of the group. And this allows you to buy something that hopefully will go up and his name will get out there more.
Yes. Thank you, Christine.
Thank you so much. Good to see you.
It's always good to spend time with you.
Thank you.
那我们今天的画廊私访就先到这里。如果你想要了解更多的藏品信息和购藏指引，可以在视频下方找到我们的联系方式。如果你喜欢今天的视频，别忘了收藏、点赞、评论、转发。我们下期见啦！